Today's session is about cover letter. Let's talk what is cover letter, why it is important, and when it should be used. Writing a cover letter often seems like a daunting task, but if you take one step at a time, you can always write your own cover letter. A cover letter is that piece of document which accompanies your resume every time you send out your resume to your prospective employer for the job application. A cover letter should always complement the resume and it should not duplicate your resume. A cover letter acts as an introduction for your resume. Anytime you send your resume to an employer, it should be always accompanied by a cover letter. A cover letter is a quick description about why your resume is better suited for that particular job. Effective cover letter explains the reason for your interest in the specific organization and identifies the most relevant skills or experience that is suitable for that particular job. Always keep in mind to write a separate cover letter for each job that you are applying. Never write a generic cover letter. Cover letter should always have a desired punch. It should be precise and it should be well formatted so that within few seconds of eyeing it, the HR manager or the hiring manager is impressed and they are enthusiastic about reading your resume. A cover letter is of three types. Firstly, application letter responds to a known job opening. Prospecting letter inquires about possible positions in a company, and networking letter requests information and assistance for your job search. Keep the contents of the cover letter within one page. Keep it as precise as possible. Rambling is an indicator of poor communication skill. If you are sending your resume via email, the cover letter should be put in the email message itself. Never attach your resume and cover letter in the email. You should always personalize your cover letter. Nobody likes to receive an impersonal email. Call the company, look on its website, or talk to others to find the correct contact or name of the hiring manager or HR manager whom you need to address the cover letter. Never say to whom it may concern or the marketing manager, HR manager, hiring manager. Never use generic titles. Don't send a generic cover letter to many different companies. You should always address the specific position that is advertised. If a company advertises that it is looking for a sales experience, make sure you address your sales experience. One way to do this is by making a table for yourself before writing your letter. Include specific examples about your past successes and experience. Explain which position you are applying for and where you saw the vacancy advertised. Let's talk about the format of the cover letter. You should follow this following 4-point structure for writing any cover letter. First one is opening paragraph. In the opening paragraph, always state why you are writing this cover letter, how you learnt about the organization or the position, and basic information about yourself. Second one, summary of skills. In this section, tell why you are interested in employer or type of the work. Always demonstrate that you know enough about the employer and position and can relate your background and skills to the employer and the position. Mention specific qualifications that make you a good fit for the employer's need. Explain in more detail relevant items on your resume. Refer to the fact that your resume is enclosed and mention any other enclosures when applicable. Third section would be closing paragraph. You should always indicate that you would like an opportunity to interview for a position or to talk with the employer or hiring manager to know or learn more about career opportunities. State how you can follow up on the letter. You can always state additional information such as certificate references. Last section, that is thank you note. Never forget to thank the employer for his or her consideration of the letter. Let's take one example. On 29th March, a software company has advertised in newspaper for the position of software developer. If you want to apply for this job position, how will you write the cover letter? Now, let us look at the different sections of the cover letter. On the right side, you can see clearly the date mentioned. It is the date on which I am writing the cover letter. Next is subject. Always mention a crisp and appropriate subject stating the purpose of the cover letter. For example, here I have mentioned that I am sending an application for the post of software developer. you can see clearly that I haven't written a generic note like to whom so it may concern, to the hiring manager or to the HR manager. I have taken enough pains to read the advertisement properly and check out that I need to send the resume to the HR person named Preeti. So I have used her name in the greetings. The opening statement, as we have already discussed in the rules, should always put your cover letter in context. Here in 2-3 lines, I tell the employer that I have seen his advertisement in Hitwada for the post of software developer. Detail the skills and experience that demonstrate the qualities they have mentioned in the advertisement. Highlight only the top 4-5 accomplishments rather than making a laundry list going back to your 12th grade. Your resume provides all these details. Always mention that for details your resume is attached. I have also mentioned that I feel that I am a strong candidate, and to prove this point I have mentioned some of my professional details below. Look at my professional details. After mentioning your technical experience, never fail to mention your behavioral skills or your personal qualities. For example, I have mentioned that I am a quick problem solver. Also, I have strong communication skills and I have participated in lot of activities. Remember, your job is never only about your technical skills. It is a match of your behavioral and technical skills. The end section of the cover letter shows that I have attached my resume. As mentioned earlier, never end the cover letter on a passive note. Always mention what is the purpose of writing cover letter. For example, here I have stated, I am looking forward to hearing back from them. Never fail to thank the employer. Mention in detail about your contact information. For example, your phone number, your address and your email address if you are not sending this cover letter via email. Now let's see some of the important points that you need to keep in mind while emailing your cover letter. Always mention the position that you are applying for in the subject line of your email address. At the end, mention your full name, address, phone number and LinkedIn profile URL. So in case the employer needs to contact you on any of this, contact details. First, send the message yourself to test the formatting and if everything works properly. If you have attached your resume, always mention it at the end of the cover letter. Always thank the employer. If you are emailing your cover letter, you need not mention an email address separately. Here are some of the recommended phrases that can be used in cover letter. Now, before we move towards the next section, please take up this assignment. Based upon your score, you can decide whether to repeat this video or whether you can move to the next section.